Our telling of The Hobbit, written by J.R.R. Tolkien in 1937. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit, not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms or an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, barren, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. And Bilbo Baggins is a very comfortable gentleman hobbit, living in a land called the Shire. He has no desire to leave his wonderful home with plenty of books and foods. Till one day, a wizard named Gandalf knocks on his door. Bilbo has him come in and sit down and have something to eat. 2 by 2 dwarfs begin to appear at his front door. After a short time, his cozy home is filled with 13 dwarfs and the wizard. They introduce themselves as Dwalin Ballin, Feely Keely, Dory Nori Ori, Oin Gloin, Biffer Bofer Bomber, and Thorin the King. Bilbo tries to be a good host and feed them all. Gandalf the wizard asks Bilbo to accompany the group of dwarfs on a dangerous journey to the Lonely Mountain, where they plan to reclaim their treasure that they lost because a dragon named Smaug took it from them. Now Bilbo has no interest in such an adventure, but eventually he is convinced that he must go on the journey. And Gandalf tells him that he will serve as a burglar. Bilbo does not quite know what to think of this. Gandalf believes it is a good idea because hobbits can be very quiet and almost disappear at times. Eventually they start out as a group of 14, accompanied by Gandalf. The group travels out of Hobbit lands and moves towards the Lonely Mountain, which is far to the east. As they proceed, the surroundings become more and more hostile. The group faces many dangerous times, such as bad weather and hunger. They are also made to deal with angry creatures. Bilbo often thinks back to his home and wonders why he is on this journey. The dwarfs and Bilbo run across trolls who capture them and tie them up in sacks. But Bilbo and Gandalf rescue them. Then Gandalf finds a key to unlock the troll's cave. The group of 14 go inside and they find great wealth, and they take what they feel they would like to have. Bilbo finds a short sword that glows when orcs are present. So also Gandalf and Thorin find powerful swords. They leave the troll's cave and move on to a place called the Valley of Rivendell, where a noble elf leader lives. Bilbo, Gandalf, and the dwarfs stay in Rivendell for 2 glorious weeks, enjoying the company of the fair folks that they call the elves. And then they go on their way. They enter into the misty mountains through a cave. While walking, Bilbo trips, falls, and loses consciousness. When he wakes up, he tries to make his way out, and he finds that he has a ring in his pocket that he has picked up absent-mindedly. While he is walking through the dark caverns and passages, he comes to a little pond and sees a creature on a small boat puttering around using his feet and hands as paddles. He is muttering to himself and making a terrible sound like Gollum, Gollum. The creature sees Bilbo and paddles over to him. Bilbo is quick-witted and proposes that they have a game of riddles. It seems that both of them are familiar with this game. They go back and forth, and the game is going quite well until Bilbo asks, "What have I got in my pocket?" Now, this is not a fair riddle, and Gollum becomes very disturbed. Bilbo puts the ring on his finger and is suddenly invisible. In this way, he finds out what the ring can do. Gollum feels that it is his ring, his birthday present, and his prized possession. When he discovers it missing, he runs at Bilbo, who follows Gollum right up out of the cave and jumps over his head to get out of the mountains. Once outside, he decides to go and find his friends. After a rest, they make their way to the house of Beorn, a fellow who is a skin changer. He has the power to change into a bear. He is not an evil person, but he is a very awesome and powerful personality. Beorn gives them what they need for the rest of their journey through the forest called Mirthwood. At this point, Gandalf leaves the group and warns them to stay on the path. The travelers are on their way through the dark forest and use a boat to cross an enchanted lake until Bombur, one of the dwarfs, falls into the lake. They rescue him and then become hungry. In the distance, they see lights in the woods, and they run off to catch the lights, but the lights disappear. Then they reappear again in the woods, and they chase them only to have them disappear another time. They realize that those are elves who are having a feast out in the woods. The group is now far from the trail, and they wander about to find it again. After a while, Thorin, the king of the dwarfs, is captured by dangerous elves, so the other dwarfs and Bilbo go to look for him. Soon they are all discovered and thrown into a dungeon under the palace of the Elven King. Bilbo, being a good burglar, slips on his invisibility ring and escapes. He has time to look around the Elven King's palace unnoticed, and he comes up with a plan for the freedom of the dwarfs. Down in the cellar, he finds empty barrels, and he pushes one of the dwarfs into each of the barrels and then locks the top lid. These each drop through the floor of the palace and plop into the cold river below. They then float down to the lake town. Once they arrive, Bilbo opens all of the wine barrels and sets loose the somewhat achy and wet dwarfs. Now they are in the town of men, and they know that they are close to the Lonely Mountain, where Smaug the dragon lives. The travelers can see the door in the Lonely Mountain, but they don't know the trick to opening it. Bilbo studies Thorin's map, and he suddenly understands what it says. Speak, friend, and enter. On a special day, he is able to open the door and enter the Lonely Mountain. Smaug is sitting inside of the mountain with his great belly on top of a huge pile of treasure. Bilbo, brave and invisible, begins a conversation with the dragon, and then quickly grabs the sacred stone. The dragon is so angry when he cannot find the stone, that he flies out of the lair, circling overhead of the town, breathing plumes of fire. A man named Bard, who is an excellent archer, pulls out his bow and arrow and is able to fire a shot right into the soft spot on the dragon's belly. The dragon falls into the lake. Bilbo decides to go back to the Shire, his homeland. He is accompanied by Gandalf. They follow their steps back to his beloved Hobbiton. He writes this poem as he goes. The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way where many paths and errands meet. When he arrives, he settles back into his relaxing life, now with many stories to tell and an occasional visit by odd folks such as dwarfs, elves, and wizards. The end.